What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the Stanford multiple playbook in college football 25. Troy Taylor, he is no longer the coach there. Anybody who's been keeping up with Stanford football, it's been down in the dumps for years. I mean, it's just an awful situation over there. I don't even know who they hired now, but either way, last year was no good. However, their playbook is pretty cool. Somebody requested this video, and I've went through it, and I think it's pretty neat. It's got some really good combination of things. It's called multiple because it's got a wide variety of formations. You could do a lot of different things from those. So we're going to go through the formations, concepts, play types, and personnel, and hopefully by the end of the video, you have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. So this is a multiple playbook, but as with most playbooks, it's going to have the majority of it in the shotgun. We will cover that last. Let's go to our first one. We got one pistol formation. It is pistol wing. We got 15 plays. Notice we got a read option. We got some play action and drop back, more read option. It's your typical stuff, nothing too out of the ordinary. I do like these flood concepts, and we got a basic counter I'm going to call. Here we got a backside comeback and a post to go with it. Let's see, got a little man action on this side. Look at that throw. Oh, just terrible throw. I might have thrown that one a little too early. Either way, you got one formation out of pistol. I don't think it has any of the pre-snap motion. Let me see. I don't see it. Yeah, we do got one. We got a little tight end motion, PA Power O, but the Power O run itself, there's no pre-snap motion with it. I kind of wish it did have it, but that's all right. Then you got basic curl flat and you got more play action. So this is a nice little change up. If you just want to go a little pistol, a little two tight end look, well, there you go. We also got some single back. We got wing tight. This is a 13 personnel formation. We got those three tight ends out there. And we got deuce close, two tight ends. That's a 12 personnel look. Let's go back to wing tight. We got a stick, we got inside zone, we got wide zone, stretch, some play action. We got a little pre-snap motions. We got some jet sweep, play action on top of that. We got another counter play. We got the basic jet sweep and power O and play action off of that. And we got basic dive. So I like the change up to a lot of things. Again, you got a pistol. Maybe you want to throw a little single back. If you want to throw a lot of weird, different looks at a defense, this is a really cool playbook to do that. Let's go over to deuce close. We got 15 plays here. We'll check to see if it's got any cool pre-snap motion, mini-series type stuff. I'm not seeing any. I don't think it did. But again, it's just more play action, more running, nothing too out of the ordinary. Then we got some split T. Not too many playbooks have this, but if you really want to get old school, you can definitely do that with some inside, some play action, some dive, halfback lead, and drop back off of that. We got a fullback toss. We even got a reverse on top of that. But I'm going to call this lead. We'll go up against like a random 4-3. This is, I think Chip Kelly brought this back when he was at UCLA, used it some there. Then he went to Ohio State, of course, for a year, and then, done well, won the title and all that good stuff. But if you want to do a little power T, there you go. It's in there. I think that's just a cool little addition. Again, it's all about just want to throw off a defense. Just give them something different they're not used to seeing. Ooh, look at that little spin. Pretty slick. Either way, I think that's pretty cool that it's just in there. It's just a fun little wrinkle. There's nothing boring about this playbook, in my opinion, just because you can just throw so many different weird things at them. So that is it for your basic stuff. You got a pistol, you got a couple single backs, and you got a split T. But now let's talk about the shotgun. Our first formation is split slot open, 21 plays. We're going to come back and look at this one a little bit later, but this is a 20 personnel look with your two backs and your zero tight end, so you got three wide receivers. We got gun ace, 18 plays. That's a 12 personnel look. Then we got deuce close, so we had single back deuce close, so now we got the gun version of that. So those work together. You got tight Y off. Now this is our first 11 personnel look. One back, one tight end. Then we got Y off trio weak. Then we got Y trio offset weak. Then we got bunch halfback strong. That's a unique formation. Not many playbooks have it. Then we got bunch wide. It's still 11 personnel. And look at your tight end. He's 86 there, 86, and there he's 86 in that one. Then we got spread flex. It looks 4 wide, but again, your tight end is in there by default. Then we got tray 4 wide receiver. This is the only 10 personnel look in the playbook, but you got 15 plays if you need it. Then we got empty base flex, 12 plays there. Then we got an empty quad, 6 plays. So we got a couple empty. So again, you can go two back. You can do your two tight end looks. Then you can do your 11 personnel. You can do some bunch. You can do some empty. You can do some pistol. You can do some single back. You can do some split T. That's why they call it multiple. It just got a little bit of everything, especially when we go look at the concepts. But let's go back to split slot open. And this has more plays in it than any other formation in the playbook. So I would start here. I think it's its own offense in and of itself. But we got a reverse, we got some sweep, we got a play action sneak bang. I'm actually going to call that. Hopefully I can make this look halfway decent. I thought this was a unique play. I don't think I've seen this particular play, but it's got just a cool... I'm going to go hit this zig out route and just a terrible throw by my quarterback. But either way, I think that's a cool little play. Got a little backside circle route with a halfback. You keep on going. We got load option. I talked about this in my previous video with Pitt. Do a little pre-snap motion, and you got basic speed option stuff right there. Get that one going a little bit. I really like it. Nice little wrinkle. You keep on going. I think we may have more. Let's say we got a slip screen. We got some triple option, left and a righty. Then we got a shovel option. Notice we got some option stuff in here. We got a basic speed option. Then we got zone split. Then you got your dropbacks and such. But the rest of it, I'm going to go through and we're going to try to find the pre-snap motion stuff and see if we got any in here. It's got some, but not a lot. Ace doesn't have any. Deuce close. We can see if we have any here. I don't see any. We got about tight Y off. We got a little jet sweep action. I think the jet sweeps could be more effective. I'm going to go ahead and call like this one right here, just because this is a bunch formation. If you can condense the defense a little bit, if you can just get to the outside just enough of a block, I think you can cut up field. There we go. See, I think it being more condensed may give you a little bit better chance to pull off those jet sweeps just a little bit better. That's just my opinion. But you got a little mini series going on there. Let's see. We got a jailbreak screen. Let's see. You need more motion. We do not. What about Y off trio weak? I don't think we have any here. What about Y trio offset weak? Do we got any pre-snap motion here? We got a little Z motion. This is a little series. We got an outside zone. We got a Z spot. That's old school pro style / West Coast. And we got motion shot on top of that. You keep on going. What about another bunch formation? We got spacing. I don't think you'll have pre-snap motion here, which again is not needed. But I think this is a cool little play, halfback counter. You don't see this play too often. It goes to the same side. Now this may not work because they got an extra dude overloading that side. But either way, I think that's pretty cool. It's a same side counter. There's not too many of those, especially like from the shotgun. I think that's just pretty cool, in my opinion. And again, I like that it's a condensed set to go with that. We got a bunch wide. Here's another bunch formation. I don't think we got any pre-snap motion there. What about spread flex? We got more jet sweep action. We got your jet sweep, your play action. Keep on going. We got another load option, a pre-snap. So this actually has a really good Urban Meyer spread option Florida Gator vibe to it with multiple pre-snap load options. And guess what? Motion wide receiver option. It just screams Tim Tebow. That's kind of what I get with this. You got several of these right here. Let's see if I can get that off. No, I should have handed that off to my halfback. Either way, really cool that it is in there. I think that's really, really neat. So besides like the basic spread option alternate playbook, this one is one I would definitely look into. So we looked at those plays. There's another speed option. You keep on going. Tray 4 wide receiver. I don't think we got any pre-snap motion here. What about empty base flex? Most of the empty ones will nod, but not always. You got empty quads. You got 6 plays there, but notice what we got. We got a QB blast. More QB running. This should tell you something. Get your quarterback that can move a little bit. Get up the field, spread the defense out or condense them with the bunch formations and add an extra runner out there via your quarterback. So we looked at all of those. I'm going to go to personnel. We've already hinted at some of this. The bulk of this is going to be 11 personnel like most playbooks in this game. But we got your split T to go along with that QB kneel for your 32. 21, you just got your clock management. 20, there's that split slot open. We got a 13 personnel look. We got a couple 12 personnels. Gun ace and then deuce close. And then we got pistol wing. Then we got deuce close. So we got 4 formations with a couple tight ends out there. Then you got 1 4 wide look. And then you got technically another one 4 wide look, but with a tight end thrown in there for good measure. So look at all the variety. Again, the whole thing about the word multiple is variety. And I think it does that both in formations and in personnel. Now let's talk about the concepts. This is another, I think, an advantage to this playbook. It's not very big. You don't need 300 plays to succeed on offense. As you can tell by the play count, there's just not a whole lot here. You actually go to play type, 150 plus 58, so that's 208 plus 230. So you got 240 or so plays. So it's got less than 250, more than enough to accomplish things. But let's start off at the very top. Your basic runs. We got 13 inside zones. That's pretty normal. middle. We got 4 counters. We got 5 draws. We got 11 outside zones. So the previous video we talked about with Pitt had, I think, 12 outside zones, if I'm not mistaken. This one has 11. Of course, this one has more variety because you can go under center. You can do pistol, things of that nature. We got 6 power, so those go really well with those counters we looked at. We got a sweep, not as many as the one we saw in the Pitt playbook. We got a few traps. We got 4 reverses. Most of them, from what I can tell, it's all the DIY reverses. I don't know if I would ever use them. But you got a 1 true jet sweep from under center, but we know better. It actually has a few more than that. So kind of notice the variety here. Plenty of outside zone and inside zone. This is the bulk of your basic running is going to come from those two. But you got a little bit of power and counter if you need them. Now let's talk about the option. We got 32 plays here. We got 3 RPO reads. This is not going to be a very RPO heavy playbook, and you'll see here later on, we do got an inverted veer, and then we get into the fun stuff. Again, this is where it gets into the old school spread option type stuff. Those are 3 load/speed options. We got 10 read options of different variety. You got lead reads, basic reads. Then we got a shovel. So technically we got a triple option play in there. Those are the speed options we looked at, as you see right here. Then we got 4 triples. We got old school triple with the 2-back look. We got a lefty. We got a righty. We got that shovel option we just looked at. And we got the motion wide receiver option. So more than enough triple for what it is. We got 4 peaks. And then we got 1 alert. This is the lowest amount of RPOs I've seen in a playbook in a long time. So do not pick this playbook to run RPOs. You pick them to run this stuff right here, at least in the run game, in my opinion, along with that inside zone and outside zone. Let's look at the quick passing. We got 1 Ohio. We got a few Omahas. We got just 3 slants. That's a really low number. We got more spacing than slant. I think that is unique. That's just different. Spacing, it's just more old school. I'm going to go ahead and select one of these. I want to see if I can make this work halfway decent. Spacing is what you expect it to be. You're trying to space the defense out so you can probably hit this little stick like right here. Look at that. Wide open. Nice. The little tight end in the flat was open too. Just another West Coast type of concept right there. But there's more of that than there are of slant, which I think is pretty interesting. We do got 7 sticks. So we got a little air raid built in here if you need it. Let's go over to our medium passing. We got 56 plays. We got 2 choices. We got 5 curls, so pretty much a curl and a hitch, just some type of combo there. We got 3 mesh if you need a little air raid. We got 6 Salem. So if you go back to Salem, not many people know this, but inside a receiver runs a short hitch of some sort, or an outside runs a deeper route of some sort. It's not always going to be a hitch and a dig. I'll just go ahead and tell you that right now. But they are in there. There's actually 6 of them in here. Good example is a high-low dig. I like those pretty well, as opposed to him just sitting there on a hitch. He can go out for a little whip route. 5 double moves. We got 5 drives, so your dig and drag going in one direction. We got 5 shallow cross. So shallow cross and drive work together. The dig and the drag go in the opposite direction. So this is going to be the base of your medium passing game, in my opinion. We got 6 slot cross. Are you noticing a theme here? This has got some air raid built into it. It's got a nice mix of mesh. Your drive, your shallow cross, your slot cross. This is technically a Y cross in the air raid world. And we got some smash, just 13 of them, but that's fine, more than enough. Then we got 3 spots. Those will really complement those spacing concepts we looked at, those plays we looked at earlier. And we got 3 Texas routes. The Texas route, usually that halfback running an angle route, but we got a tight end angle route, if you notice with this play right here, which I think is pretty cool. You don't see these too often. If you can see him get open, I'm going to go hit the halfback. He's wide open. Just get some easy yards there. But either way, I think it's pretty cool. 3 angle plays is actually a really high number. Most of these playbooks barely have 1. Let's look at the deep passing. We got 3 divides. That's your go post combo within reason. We got 8 floods. I'm a big flood fan. We got just 6 verticals. Again, this isn't a very big playbook. We got 19 shot plays. So a lot of it, think of it, it's inside zone, outside zone, run those options, but you just throw over the top with a lot of these plays right here. We got 11 comebacks. I love the comeback route, just really good against man with some backside zone stuff. We got 1 dagger. We got a few double post. We got a few meals. We got 6 Portlands. Those go really well if you back up and notice it's more digs and posts. It's like the same 4 or 5 routes just over and over again. And we got 8 switches. So you got a little run and shoot built in if you need it. But notice a lot of it's play action variety, a lot of PA wide receiver in. But what does that PA wide receiver in look like to you? If you go and look, what does that look like? To me, that looks like shallow cross, but it's play action with the backside switch. That's all it is. It's the same stuff over and over again. Can I get him? Nope, he's double teamed. I was going to get intercepted. Either way, it's just more shallow cross, but it's just a play action variety with the backside switch on top of that. So again, add that to the offense. Obviously, it just makes sense to do so. We got 9 play actions, but we actually got way more than that. It says we got 3 boots and like 6 slides. That's something to kind of keep in mind. If you like to do a specific type of play action, you may want to look at slide a little bit more. Got that backside tight end coming across, but we're going to check out some more play actions here in a minute. It says we only have 8 screens, but we know better. And what's interesting is it's nothing but flanker screens. But if you go over to play type, you go to pass, and you go to screen, we got 14 total just old school screens. It's either a halfback screen, a jailbreak, a flanker, a Z screen, just things of that nature. Then you throw in those 3 or 4 RPOs we looked at, because you go back and look, there's 8 total RPOs. Again, super low number. This is not an RPO playbook, but it does have enough screens if you want to. But again, that's not the real bulk of it. You go back to pass. We got 42 play actions. Definitely use this. Think inside zone, outside zone, play action, whether that's that PA wide receiver in. Then you got, look at that PA dig. What's that look like to you? It's just more shallow cross. Again, it's the same. Look at that, more PA wide receiver in. Just really good stuff across the board. So run, play action, and run those option plays. The shotgun passes, I don't normally look at these, but it's obvious it's going to have plenty of dropbacks, as you see right here. But it's got a handful of under center dropbacks as well, if you need them. Let's look at the runs in a little bit different way. We got 28 inside handoffs, but we got 17 outside handoffs. We got those pitch. We got a pitch we looked at. We got a handful of counters. We got some draws. We got a couple fullback runs. And it says we got 1 true QB blast, but all of your QB run is going to be coming from these plays right here. All of these option plays, all of these reads, speeds, leads, triples, shovels. Nice variety here for it being a multiple playbook. And here are those 8 RPOs that honestly, I don't know if you'll ever use them. They're in here if you need them though. All right, so that makes up the playbook. I want to go to the roster, and we'll just talk about recruiting and kind of maybe what to look for. So here's the thing with a multiple offense. You can do a little bit of everything, but this particular playbook, I think it's just geared towards play action, running with handoffs, but doing a lot of option quarterback stuff. So it makes sense for this quarterback right here. He's got 84 speed. He's a perfect fit for this offense. He's got a couple backups that can run at least a little bit. But if I'm going to have all that speed option, all of that read, even some of those triples, I'm going to use a guy who could run a little bit. It just makes sense to do so. Halfbacks, all those outside zones we looked at, I would get somebody with some speed. So these guys right here probably wouldn't cut it in my offense. If this was the team I was using, I would be recruiting over them. With these types of players, I'd be doing a lot more inside zone, because again, if I'm going to do outside zone stuff, I need somebody who's got some speed to them. But if I'm going to do any type of outside work with these guys, it's going to be probably with option plays, like speed option. You know, it's still nice to have some speed there, but I would get somebody who's a little bit faster, because again, there's so much outside stuff to do run-wise in this playbook. Fullback. If you notice, we only had, one formation that had a fullback in it. If it was the split T, and that was it. So don't expect, if you want to have one fullback on your roster, you can do that just for that split T purposes. Otherwise, I don't think you'll ever bother. You'll probably end up throwing a tight end right there anyways. Wide receiver, it's like with most of these offenses, get somebody who can catch the ball. If you got a lot of jet sweep, which we had a little bit of that in this offense, but what we really had was those wide receiver motion option plays, the Urban Meyer spread option type stuff. This kid right here, he's 6'2", 210. I'd probably keep him on the outside, but you got to have a little speed here. I would definitely put one of these guys in the slot where you can do some of that slot motion, things of that nature. Tight end, this offense didn't have like a ton of tight end awesomeness to it. Not like the Pitt playbook where it had like a Y pop and a Y flat, things of that nature. But if you're going to throw to your tight ends at all, I mean, get somebody who can move a little bit and who can catch. It's just pretty obvious. Offensive line, it depends. I think you need to get some road graders. It's got so many cool option plays built into it, and it's got just a really good amount of inside and outside zone. I would get some dudes who can push some dudes around. But if you're going to throw the ball a lot, then you're just going to get whoever you can, just get the best you can find. When it comes to guards, obviously get some road graders. Now, this guy's a pocket passer. I would probably find somebody who, like this kid right here, he's a power guy who can really push some dudes around. Again, it just depends on what you're trying to get out of your linemen. And the same with center. I think they're no different than guards, in my opinion, for the most part, depending on the offense. But just get somebody who can do a little bit of everything. You know, offensive line, that's where it all starts. You need the best you can find. Anyways, all right, so that is it for this playbook. I think it is pretty cool. I think you'll like it. I really like the idea that it has a bunch of these really cool option plays in it for what it is, but I think what's even more cool is it's got a little bit of shotgun. It's got some pistol. It's got some single back. It's got some split T. It's got some 2 tight end looks. It's got some 2 back looks. It's got some empty looks. Again, variety, aka multiple. I love it, and I think you will too. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.